what are some real telltale signs for our listeners that you may not be getting enough minerals?
One thing I want to say is that because our food supply is lacking in minerals, there's actually a term for micronutrient deficiency, and it's called the hidden hunger. And isn't that what so many people are feeling? So, particularly when we're trying to affect our health and we're trying new diets, or ways of eating and things. And you go to the fridge, you eat dinner, an hour later or half an hour later, you're like opening the fridge, looking for that thing that's to fill that void. And what I say to people is, what if that feeling is just your cells saying, I need minerals?
Yep.
So if you are constantly feeling cravings for sugar and salt, this absolutely can be mineral deficiency. I'll tell you an example. I just went away. I was traveling for 2 weeks, and wouldn't you know, the mineral geek doesn't bring minerals on her trip. Like, hello.
Happens to the best of us. It happens to the best of us.
By the end of that 2 weeks, I was actually with my family, and I found myself craving sugar, like carbs and sugar. And I'm not a carb and sugar craver. So that it was like, I was like, wow, this is the minerals. This is absolutely the minerals. So that's the first piece. So things that people don't think of as mineral deficiency, like anxiety, constant low-level anxiety, panic, depression, blood sugar irregulation, not being able to sleep through the night. I mean, sleep and minerals is absolute. I mean, we know magnesium will help people sleep. I don't recommend using magnesium for sleep that way, but that's another conversation. But hair loss, of course, and, the obvious things, but in the brain fog, absolutely. So we have, and also having a struggle managing your anger, like kind of that mood dysregulation. And that's really big with kids who have lots of outbursts. You can give them minerals, full spectrum minerals, and it can literally change them dramatically. We have a great story on our website about that.
Yeah. And I love that you brought up some of those pieces that we wouldn't tend to think, because my brain goes to hair and nails. And I said this on the last time I brought you on my podcast. The one thing that blows me away when I take your minerals is that my nails grow so fast. So much so that if I don't take a nail clipper with me when I go on a trip, I'm like struggling to find, I got to go buy one. And that never happened before. Never. I would like cut my nails. It got to a point of like maybe once a month. And now it's like once a week. Same thing with my hair. My hair is growing so fast that I'm having to get it cut a lot more. So when those kind of things happen to me, I think, okay, if this is happening to my hair and nails, what other parts of my body are starting to come back online taking these minerals? So one of my questions to you is like, do we know which body parts require more mineral help than others? Do we know what part of the cell that minerals affect? Like, let's take it down to like an organ cellular system conversation.
Well, we're used to thinking about our body like parts. We have a heart, we have lungs, we have nails, we have hair, we have tissues, we have biosynthesis processes like hormone production and thyroid production and cortisol, and we have, our cardiovascular system, and we have lymph and all of these. We're used to thinking about it like parts, but when we think about minerals, what you have to do is think about your entire body is made of cells. Every single part of your body is made of cells, and minerals work at a cellular level. So you have maybe 37 to 150 trillion cells in your body as an adult human. And inside each cell, there are mitochondria. And just to give you a sense of scale, like on the back of your hand, you might have in a single cell, like 1 to 200 mitochondria. In your heart, in a single cell, like 5,000 to 8,000 mitochondria. And in your brain, like you could have up to 2 million mitochondria in a single cell. Okay.
Wow.
What these mitochondria do is they generate almost all of the energy in your body, almost all of it. So if you don't have enough, those mitochondria, which are fueled by minerals and amino acids, do not have enough fuel available, your body will have to pick and choose what it does and what it does not do. And it doesn't really need your hair, and it doesn't really need your nails, and your skin, we can let it go a little bit. And, that gut, we're just going to limp along and not get rid of that inflammation. And if you have a cut, it's going to heal much more slowly and on. And this anxiety is literally can be fueled by your cells. Literally. I mean, how do you feel when you're hangry? You're hangry, like on edge. So imagine every cell is like, okay, am I going to get what I need now?
Yeah, that's really well said. I think that's really well said, because the body will always, like, let's say you have for the lack of clear information, let's say you have a small dosage of minerals in your body. And so your body's going to have to prioritize where those minerals go. Mm-hmm. So I would think the brain would probably be its top priority.
And the
heart. And it makes sense that the hair would fall out and your nails would, one of the things I've noticed is if I don't take it, I get the ridges on my nails. Mm-hmm. So I use my hair and nails to sort of tell me where my minerals are at. But what you just said is really interesting, which is, if your nails aren't growing or your hair is falling out, you're at a mineral deficit, but that might be because the body has taken your mineral load and has put it into other organs in order to keep you alive.
So I came up with this idea of how do we use our community and come together to support organizations that are lifting women up. I will be profiling some of these incredible nonprofits that are raising up women that really need some extra support. Give like a girl. We are more powerful together, and I'm so excited to announce this project to you.
Before we got on this, you talked a little bit about the cell membrane. And the cell membrane is a really interesting one to me, because that is how nutrients get into the cell and how toxins get out of the cell. It's also how hormones get into the cell and out of the cell. So if your cellular membrane is junk, I don't care how many patches you put on yourself. I don't care how many creams or troches or pellets you lather yourself up with. You are never going to be in hormonal balance. So talk to me a little bit about that cellular membrane, and what do we know about how minerals can make that membrane more receptive to the hormones in our body?
So it's so cool. The cellular membrane it's the way a cell works is absolutely miraculous.
It's really cool.
But I always like to help people think about it this way. So if you're in a room, and imagine the room is a cell, okay? Maybe you have one door and one window. If you can't open the window because it's, been painted closed with seed oils, right? And the door is locked from the outside. Well, nothing can come in and out. Okay. But let's say you have one door and one window. Well, some things can come in and out. But if you had 4 doors and 4 windows, then the efficiency of both nutrients in and biowaste and toxins out would be greatly affected. Okay.
Yeah.
That is so important to the overall nutritional system and replenishment. I love this word replenishment, because we can supplement, which means stuffing a whole bunch of stuff into our body and hoping the body can do something with it. Or we can actually understand the way the replenishment system works in the body, and we can provide things that replenishment system naturally can utilize. And so if you have this cell lining, one of the cool things about humic, which is a part of one component of plant-based minerals, is that it interacts with the proteins in cell walls, causing it to open more channels. Okay. Now, most channels that open in a cell wall, they're gated, because the cell is the The wall is a place to keep non-beneficial substances out of the inside of your cells, and that's fantastic, okay? Now, the sad thing with something like glyphosate is that your body recognizes glyphosate as glycine, which is one of the most prevalent amino acids in your body, and it will let it into the cell, okay? So that's one of the reasons glyphosate is so bad for us, okay?
Yep.
So most of the channels that open in a cell wall are gated. So it's like a magnesium molecule hits the cell and it says, the cell goes, oh, that's magnesium, let's let it in, okay? But the fulvic molecule, which is the other component of plant-based minerals, it's called a flavonoid. And a flavonoid is a transportation molecule. And the fulvic molecule is the most effective transportation molecule. It'll carry 60 times its weight of nutritional elements, hormones, minerals, amino acids into the cell. And any channel that opens in that cell wall, it gets a free pass through.
Wow.
So this is a way that especially, and this is why it help people so much when they're struggling to get into that fat adapted state, that fasting state. Because when they're going through that process, if their cell linings are clogged, they're getting way fewer minerals into their cells and everything starts to glitch. Like all your electrical systems, the communication between cells, all of the things start to glitch. Okay. So what you want to do is actually provide these things that both increase the number of doors and windows that you have in your room, and then have a whole bunch of guys with backpacks carrying things in and bringing them into you, and then filling up all the trash and taking it out.
Okay, where are my gals that are struggling with hormonal imbalance? Bloated, feeling like you're not making progress with weight loss? You need to add these foods in so that you can support better hormonal health. There is a lifestyle that estrogen wants you to live, and there is a lifestyle that progesterone wants you to live.